CQ140, Ontario, Victor 1, Canada, David X-ray.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another Tech Minds video. So, a few years ago now, the SDR world was kind of rocked by the release of a multi-platform SDR application called SDR++. Now, this allowed reception of radio waves on your computer by a whole range of software-defined radios. Now, this was one of the first decent multi-platform SDR applications that also ran on Android, making SDR truly portable. Now, a few years later, a fork was made of this open source software, and this time it was called SDR++ Brown. Now, SDR++ Brown is what we're going to take a brief look at in this video, and we're going to see if any of the new features are of actually any use. The download for this fork can be located on GitHub, and I'll link below if you'd like to check it out yourself. Now, there is also a dedicated website for this Brown version of SDR++. Now, the website covers a lot of the changes and enhancements that have been made to Brown over the initial release of SDRPP, and we'll try out some of these extra features in this video, although some of them I could not actually get to work. So firstly, you need to download the software from the GitHub page and just uncompress the archive to a folder on your computer. Now, for this example, I'll be using Windows 11, but later in the video, we will take a look at the Android version as well. Now, there's no installer. SDRPP Brown runs from within its own folder, so just locate that executable to run it. One of the cool additions to this Brown version is that in order to try it or use it, you do not even need an antenna or an actual SDR receiver connected to your computer, and that's because Kiwi SDRs have been integrated, meaning you can connect to a wide range of Kiwi SDRs from around the globe. Now, once the application is running, you'll want to select the device you want to connect to. So if you do have an SDR connected to your computer, then you can select it up here. A range of SDRs are supported, like RTL SDR, SDR Play, AirSpy, Pluto, HackRF, and even the Hermes Light 2. Now, all of these are actually supported in the original SDR++ version, so there's no real difference here. The first demo that I'll show you is the Kiwi SDR integration, which actually uses the internet. Now, from this list, select Kiwi SDR. You'll then see a button labelled as Choose on Map. Now, this will load up a map of the world with online SDRs highlighted as a green circle. As you can see from this map, there's an obscene amount of online web SDRs that you can connect to, ranging from pretty much all four corners of the globe. Now, simply click on one to see the SDR server's details, which will normally show the antennas used or maybe the frequency range that SDR supports. Once selected, press the Test Server button, and if your connection is okay between your computer and the server, then you'll see a button down the bottom that's titled as Use Tested Server. Now press this and then you'll be connected to that web SDR. Now the bandwidth is very narrow, so do not expect a full band scope of the selected band, but you can use the frequency and mode controls within SDRPP Brown to change frequency.
Quite long in the tooth. Anyway, I will hold it, Derek. Yes, let me, aircraft equipment, what did I have? I had a Bendix transmitter at one time.
So moving on to the next feature, and that's noise reduction. Now, I do not normally play around with noise reduction too much, as sometimes it just doesn't work very well. Now, if you've not noticed by now, all of the features and functions of SDR++ and this Brown version can all be found down this left side of the application. You just have to scroll up and down to find the one that you want to activate or edit. Now, there's two types of noise reduction available. There's a baseband noise reduction, which when activated, take a look at the waterfall. And then there's an audio noise reduction.
I'm thinking from memory, if you take the lid off, the power supply board there, I think it's on two screws, and you can lift it off, Martin. You can actually lift it off, so you don't have to strip much down, Martin.
Now, another cool feature is FTA and FT4 decoding. If enabled and the FT8 frequency is in the selected passband, it will automatically decode these transmissions and show them on the screen down the bottom, even if you're not actually tuned to the FT8 or FT4 frequencies. Now you can enable or disable FT8 and FT4 independently, and you can save all of the received transmissions to a text file, which obviously you can name and choose where it's going to be stored. If we take a look at the text file after some transmissions have been decoded, we can see the full QSO, including a timestamp. Now on this same feature, there's a tick box labelled as PSK Reporter. Now from the documentation, when ticked, any received and decoded FT8 or FT4 transmissions should be uploaded to the PSK Reporter website. Now for that to work, you do need to have your locator entered and also your call sign for reporting purposes. However, while this used to work on older versions, the PSK Reporter tick box just appears to be permanently ticked without the ability to untick it. Now even in this state, any received packets are not uploaded to PSK Reporter. Now I believe I saw this mentioned in one of the issues listed on the GitHub page, so hopefully this will be sorted out in future releases. Now a question I get asked a lot about is using DSD with SDR++, or maybe other types of SDR software. Now included with SDR Brown Edition is the ability to use a module called DSD. You simply select DSD from the modulation selection panel like you would FM, sideband, AM, CW, etc. Now it's called DSD, however, as far as I can tell, it only decodes DMR, P25 and NXDN. There's no fusion or D-star decoding. Now if you want that, then you'll have to use the actual DSD application and use audio piping like VB audio cable. Now there's no P25 or NXDN transmitters in my area, but there is actually quite a lot of DMR. To use, just select DSD from the modulation menu and then point and click on what you might think is a DMR transmission. Now if it starts decoding, you'll hear the demodulated audio coming out of your speakers and you'll see the header information in this panel right here.
Chat 1, 2 or 3, wherever you want to go. So with that one, Derek, thanks for popping in. It is appreciated. And I'll wish you 7-3 and also you, Dan. I'll put it back to you to let you close it or do whatever. But I'll leave I'll leave one of my charged radios switched on UK call. Back to you, Dan.
Now in a more recent update, or more over a year ago actually, the ability to transmit through a Hermes Light 2 was added. Now with my Hermes Light 2 connected to my local network and attached to my end-fed half-wave antenna, SDR Brown found it almost instantly. Now you can use SDR Brown to just listen with the Hermes Light 2, but apparently it does have the ability to transmit. You just have to change the layout so the transmit features are visible. Now while everything looked okay, when I pressed the transmit button on the application, the TX relays within my Hermes Light 2 started buzzing, latching and unlatching continuously really fast. Now I do have a lot of experience with the Hermes Light 2, and this is a similar issue that we could potentially see when packet loss is present over the network. That's normally if someone uses a Wi-Fi connection or they have a really bad connection. However, my computer and the Hermes Light 2 are both connected via a network switch using Ethernet cables, so that is not the issue. So just to test, I tried Thetis, and that's a great application for SDR transceivers, and that actually worked perfectly. So I opened up SDR Brown again and tried transmitting, but it was exactly the same. Now I'm pretty sure there's nothing wrong with my hardware or network, so it appears that the latest Windows build for this application has broken Hermes Light 2 TX support. Now if there's a magical setting somewhere that I just couldn't find and you know about, let us know down in the comments below. And what's even more annoying is that all of the previous builds appear to be expired, so I cannot even try an older version here. Now later in the video I do try this again, but I try it on an Android device. Now one of the features listed on the wiki page for SDR Brown is the ability to load up a few WebSDRs at the same time and view their waterfalls along the bottom of the screen. Now this is really useful if you want to monitor a few web SDRs at the same time while you're transmitting, just to give you an idea of where your signal is being heard. Now I think there's a 60-second timeout for each of these. However, this is another feature that I could not get working. When selecting a web SDR from the map, when choosing to add it to this module, a blank area appeared down the bottom of the screen, directly under the waterfall. But there was absolutely no WebSDR waterfall shown here. So the question is, again, is this another broken feature? Now this next feature that I'll show you is actually on the original SDRPP application, and that's the frequency manager. Now I'm only mentioning this here because it's actually really useful, especially if you want to quickly maneuver between handbands, modes, or tune to a specific area of a band or even radio stations. You simply tune to the frequency you want to store and then press the Add button on the Frequency Manager module. You can give it a name and even alter some settings like frequency, mode or bandwidth before you save it. And to recall it, you just double click on it from the list. Now this is another question that I get asked a lot, and how to use SDR++ on Android. Now it's the same process to install and use whether you're using SDR++ or SDR++ Brown. Just head to the download page and look for the file that ends with .apk. Download this file to your computer. You'll then need to copy this file to your Android device. Now I just plugged mine into my computer via a USB cable and copied the file over. Then switch over to your Android device, use the Files app and navigate to the folder where you copied that strpp.apk file to. Just double tap it and then install it. Now once you have it running, you can use most SDRs by connecting them to the USB port on your Android device. There's been some improvements made to the UI of this Brown version with smaller tablet style screens in mind, which in turn should make it easier to navigate around the app. Now I did not try any other SDRs as I really wanted to show how well the Hermes Light 2 worked across my Wi-Fi network. The Hermes Light 2 was still plugged into my network via an Ethernet cable, but the Android tablet is of course running over Wi-Fi. Now once I enabled the SSB TRX layout from the display tab, I should have been able to transmit from the Android tablet through my Hermes Light 2. However, what is very strange here is that the TX button is missing from the available buttons. Now you can record a message to call CQ, you can use the soft tune button, and you can enter or exit the QSO page, but there's no actual transmit button. I have no idea what's happened to this latest build of SDR++ Brown, but maybe one of you who have used this before can let us all know. Now I kind of have a feeling here that SDRPP Brown is not actively being developed, and that's no disrespect to the developer that made this fork. I know how precious time can be these days, especially with work and family. At the very least, you can use SDR++ Brown with Kiwi SDRs over the internet without the need for an actual SDR connected to your computer. The screen sizes and adjustment made for use on the Android screens and tablets are also very welcomed. The ability to decode DMR directly within the application without having to use third-party software is also very welcomed. Anyway guys, just a quick overview and rundown of SDR++ Brown Edition. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments, and don't forget this is free software. It's open source, available on GitHub. If you're a programmer, you can make changes to it yourself, contribute to the project, or just download it and test it to see how well it works with your SDRs. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching. A shout out to all my patrons and YouTube members, and of course all my subscribers and you guys that watch my videos. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.